Okay, hello everyone, this is Nudge, and this is a special video because I recently got a request and I thought I might as well do it in a short amount of time because I can. It really isn't that difficult, and I thought it would be kind of interesting for everyone who might benefit from it. So, this video is going to be a, a little tiny menu guide for Rhythm Tengoku on the GBA. I'm going to be using RegHorse to play. I'm not going to be playing any of the actual games, I'll just walk you through the menus. And yes, there is no visuals because I'd like you to focus on what I am sensing or what I'm able to understand through sound alone, so no visuals this time. So you're basically going to be looking at it the same way that I would be. Oh, excuse me for noises. I just bumped the chair where the computer is, so it just did weird stuff. Okay. So, let's go reset, and I'm going to turn the speech off so it doesn't keep on doing this, and I'm going to tell you what's happening. So the first thing that happens is a bunch of logos and title things, and if you wait for long enough... There we go. So I just had to press A to get it to start up for some reason. I don't know why. So this is the title screen, and it plays this music forever. Well, no, actually, it plays for a little bit, and then after a while, it does something else. But for all intents and purposes, when you press A here or Start, it doesn't matter which one, you'll go into the. Well, if there's a save, you'll go into the main menu. If there is not a save, it'll start your save from the very beginning. So I'm just going to wait for the music to loop, which is going to happen in a few seconds. There. So I'm going to press A now. And of course, since I have a menu, I have a save file already, I'm in the main menu now. So this menu, unlike Rhythm Heaven, like every single other Rhythm Heaven game, you have one save file. If the save file is corrupted, it will remake it and it'll restart from the very beginning. And you start in this thing called the main menu, or what I call the main menu, which doesn't really exist in all the other games. In the other games, you have a file select menu, and when you click on a file, you'll just be transported into what I would call the game selection screen. In this game, it doesn't work like that. Instead, you have a menu of 5 options. It makes this noise when you move around. The first option is the game select screen. The second option is to replay the rhythm test. So if you go in here, it does this, which is normally what you would get if you were to start the game from the very beginning. I'm going to quit out of this by pressing Start, Right, and A. And the next 2 options are odd, because you would think they're not there. In the new Rhythm Heaven games, they are not here, they're somewhere else. The first, what I would call the first option out of this set, well, actually no, the rhythm test kind of works like that too. So this is the third menu option, and it is what is known as email. And here you have a list of about 20 different things you can look at, and you can rapid fire if you hold the button down. And basically what this does is it lets you read text. You get these blocks of text by completing perfect attempts, and when you click on one, it gives you a little ambience, which is exactly the same every single time, by the way. And you can press A to scroll through the pages. You can also press B to go back, and you can also press up or down to do the same, except up goes backwards through pages. And if I'm right, if you press A enough times, it'll just quit out of itself. No, it won't. You have to press B to do that, but I can press up, which goes backwards. So that's the email screen. And the next one down is the studio screen, which makes this crowd noise. I like how every single option you enter is always going to have a different, different sounds to tell you where you are. This menu is odd because it contains all the music tracks for the game in a huge list. It is ridiculously huge. And at the very bottom of the list, you will also be able to see recordings that you've made. Except this one doesn't have it. Oh, yes, it does. Whoa. Oh, I didn't know I made this. What? This is new. I forgot I did this. I'm sorry, I haven't listened to this in forever. It's been months since I played. Almost. I always love this track. Although I must admit, I didn't do a very good job of playing it. Everybody fills. Oh, it's just me mashing the buttons. Okay, so basically when you click on an option, you have 4 choices in this menu. The first option is simply to play it as it is, which also plays the cue. I'll talk about what the cue is in a bit. Second option is to play it along to the tracks with drums, or, in case this is a recording, it is delete recording. Third option is... Whoa. A third option is reorder, I think. Yes, it is. I'm going to press B to get out of that. And the fourth option is add to queue. So basically this game has a queue function. I don't actually know if the other games do. I think the other games will simply just skip to the next track in order. This game has a queue, so like you put tracks in it, and then when you press add to queue enough times and you press play, it will eventually play all the tracks you selected in order, which is interesting. It's more of a music player type thing. Now I'm gonna find another recording. This one exists. This one exists. And I'm gonna press the second option, and I'm going to say yes, which is the left and right. It's a left and right option. If I press yes, the recording is deleted. Now, if I go somewhere else, like this for example, this is showtime, and if I press the second option, it gives me a choice of kits. You have 20 drum kits, or maybe it's not 20, I think it's a bit less than that. 15 of them. And if you press A on any of the, well, you have to have them unlocked. Basically, it's a perfect attempt thing again. You also get some of these tracks by completing perfect attempts, and if you get every single perfect attempt complete, you'll get everything. So if I press A on one of these kits, I'll get to play, and it'll give me a count-in first. That's weird, it takes longer to end. What? It has another part that you never hear anywhere else but in the studio. What? Wow, that was weird. And the reason why I did all that is because, well, for one, I've never heard Showtime in full before, and for two, you get a second menu, which asks you, do you want to save this as a recording? If you play for long enough, you can also press select to get out of here early, and it will still ask you if you play enough notes. I am going to say no, I don't want to save this as a recording. Another thing you can do is, if I go all the way back to the very top of this menu, you will see the first option in this menu for me is the title screen theme, which is not correct. It's supposed to be a silent track, so you could play along with the drums and test it, or play drums without having anything over them, but for some reason it got moved. See, it's here. If I wait for long enough, see, it's silent. It doesn't actually do anything. Now, let me show you. If you press... What? Oh, what? Wait, what? Wait. What? What does that do? What does that do? Huh? What? I am confused. What? I am so confused. What does that do? I don't understand. I'm pressing R, and it either makes a forward or a back sound, and I can't... It's as if... Wait, I think I know. Wait a minute. Wait. If I press B to get out, and then press A to go back in, is it saved? Yeah, it is. That's weird. Oh! I know why it's... Okay. I think this might be just a hunch. I don't actually know if this is true or not, but what I'm thinking it's doing is pressing L allows you to swap the track immediately. So, like, if I press L, then I select the very first track in the screen and press A on it. Oh, I have to press L. Now, if I press A on the first track, it's silent, so it did a reorder, basically. It did a swap. Now, if I... There's the title theme. There's the intro theme. There's the main menu. There's game select. So, basically, I moved the the silent track back to the very top, which is where I wanted it to be. And if I wanted, I could go and move my recordings up to the top for whatever reason. Now, the other thing that this does is, you see, the reason why the silent track goes, if I try to press R on it, is because what I'm thinking is that it's adding to the cue, and when it makes the A sound, or like the forward sound, it's on, like it's in the cue, and if you press R again, it makes the back sound, and it gets rid of it from the cue. That is interesting. I never knew you could do that, but you can. So there's the studio for you. It's the most interesting part of the menu system for sure. Well, except for the game select screen, of course. And there's one last option in this menu, which plays the same music, but makes it fade to a lower volume for some reason. It also makes this noise when you move through options in it. There are two options. The first option, if you click on it, does this. Makes everything treble boosted. It also disables the echo effect, which is, by the way, on the hardware level. And, it's odd. It's mainly used, it's supposed to be for systems that have mono speakers, so like actual GBAs, or if you want to hear everything clearly, like for example the cues for Toss Boys as they're panned around and stuff, you can use that. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it hardware boosts the trebles and makes the bass go weird. And then the other option is the clear save data option. Now, if you go in here, pressing A will immediately go back, and the only way to clear your save permanently is to press up, then A. It's a safety measure thing. So if you press B in the screen, or if you press A in the screen, it will go back and it will basically not do it. If you're really sure you want to clear your save, which I'm not going to do, you press up once and then A, and it deletes, restarts the game, and goes back to the very beginning, as if you didn't have a save. And there's the options menu. So we're done with the main menu part of it. Now I'm going to enter in the game select screen. Also, because of the fact that all of it is contained in ROM, well, no, I don't actually know why it is, but it loads in very, very quickly. So, this is a bit more confusing, but it really isn't, because the rows start, when you start out, you only have a row of 6 things to choose from, and every row, which you start on a row 1, has 5 games in it, going from bottom to top, and the very top option is the remix. Now, once you complete Remix 1, you'll get access to the row on the left, which is like row 0, which contains a bunch of other stuff that I will now talk about, and then everything past it is row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 rows of 6 games, totaling 48 games in total, and basically you can move around by finding the row and column of where the game is that you want to play. Now, let's go and talk about this row on the top. No, on the left, sorry. So, if you start from the very top, you first get access to this screen. You only unlock this once you've completed Remix 8. It makes this weird noise when you move through options in this menu. I don't know why. It sounds like Quiz Show. And this is what I honestly don't know what it's called, but I like to call it the Drum Live minigame, because you get to play drums along to preset tracks, and depending on if you're keeping the beat well and doing things at the right times, you'll get cheered on by the audience. And if you don't do very well, they won't really be impressed too much. I can press B to get out of here. The second option from the top is the credits themselves. You can watch them at any time after having completed Remix 6. If you are below Remix 6, clicking on any of these 2 options at the top will simply go did and it won't let you. I can press B to get out. And then the other screens can be accessed from the get-go after having completed Remix 1. So the first screen is drumming lessons. In here you have an option, a selection of 20 different patterns you can choose. And the next one down is endless games, which there are 4 of. Next down is Rhythm Toys, which again, there's 4 of. I actually kind of like the musical theme for this. I don't know which one I like more. I like this one and the DS one. I don't really like the Fever one much. I like the little noises it makes. I also like how the drums are crazy high-pitched. And then finally is the cafe. The cafe has lost almost all of its significance in this game in comparison to what you would think if you were to go into a cafe from any of the other Rhythm Heaven games, because in this cafe there is no menu. The only thing you get is music and a bunch of text blocks. Which, by the way, I do wonder what this text says. Let me read it. Do you want to play games? Please do your best. By the way, I have coffee. Didn't you ask? I can only make coffee, but ha ha ha. Interesting. So, yeah. That's just, text. That's literally all it is. And also, the noise it makes when you go through it is different than the normal text scrolling sound, which you can find in, say, a drum pattern, which sounds like this. Oh, let's get out of that. I meant this one. If you press A, you'll be able to scroll through text, and it sounds like this. That's odd. Why does it make a weird snare drum sound? Anyway, you press select to get out of most of these games. You also press select to stop playing drums. And in some cases, especially in Rhythm Toys, you have to press start and find the pause menu and then press right and A to quit. And with that, we're done. There's not much else to talk about. The menu structure for this game is quite simple, I would say. The only other thing that you really need to worry about is maybe if you get perfect attempts, the game is not highlighted in any audible way. The only way you know which one it is if you read the text, or if you save scum your way through every single game and fail, and when you fail, you hear the signature noise that kind of sounds like I can't make any better representation of that noise, but it sounds like if you hear that noise, that means you lost a perfect chance. Then you can reload your save state and do it for real. But of course, that you can't really do that on real hardware if you want to do that, or if you plan not to use save states, which I haven't done much of because instead I can do this. Yeah, that's helpful too. Also, for some very weird reason, RetroArch also has a I don't know why you'd need that, but it exists. So, there's the Rhythm Tengoku menu guide for you guys. I hope someone has enjoyed or been able to make sense of it. Honestly, it took me a while to figure out that the L and R buttons did something in the studio, but after having messed with it for a bit, it all makes sense. The only time the L and R buttons are used is in the drumming minigames or in the studio, and that is it. I don't think there's any other place where you can see that being used. So, there you go. I hope someone has enjoyed, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because the GBA version of this game has a slightly more difficult menu structure than the arcade one does, because the arcade one, almost everything is laid out in like one simple list of left and right choices, whereas in here there is the game select grid. There's a couple of places where you have to go left and right instead of up and down, stuff like that. The only place where I feel like the Tengoku arcade one is slightly difficult that I still haven't been able to figure out, and neither will I probably end up doing it, is the type your name screen at the very end when it says Nori Nori deshita and it plays the drum music. You get to type in your name, and typing your name is difficult. All I know is you click on stuff, you press A to put it in, if you press B, it backspaces, and if you press B when there's nothing to backspace, it'll go did it, and that's it. If you enter in enough characters, it'll immediately just end, and it will continue, and it will, end the game. And that's about it. So, there's a Rhythm Tengoku menu guide. I'm hoping it was somewhat useful for you guys, and I'm guessing maybe in a week or two I'll end up making something else that is slightly different. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.